So we're going to do some addition and subtraction of fractions and decimals using these very cool fraction and decimal rods. So the first problem we're going to tackle is 2/3 minus 1/4. So I'm going to take the two rods, the rods labeled 1/3, and I'm going to take two of them, so I have 2/3. And I want to take away one block that is the size of a 1/4 block. But in my 2/3, I don't have any blocks that are the size of a 1/4 block. So I need to turn these into something else. And the rules of this game are that you can only ever turn blocks into blocks of the same size. So I can take my 2/3 and I can change them into 12ths, and I can take the number of 12ths that are the same size as the third. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 12ths. It's the same size as my 2/3, so I can trade my 2/3 for 8 12ths. Now I still want to take away a block that's the size of a 1/4, but here I only have 12th blocks, so I want to trade some of these 12ths into 4ths. So I can see that 3/4 is the same size as 3/12 is the same size as 1/4, so I can trade 3 of my 12ths for 1/4. So this block is still the same as my 2/3 block that I started with, so this is still 2/3, and I want to take away 1/4 from it, so I can just take away a 1/4 block, and I know that 2/3 minus 1/4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 12ths. Next, we're going to do some subtraction using the decimals. So here I have 2/5, and I want to do the problem 2/5 minus 0.2. So to get 0.2, I've taken 2/10 blocks and put them together. So it's 1/5 minus 2/10. Now I want to do the same thing here, but I want to change. There are two ways to do this. I can change my 2/10 blocks into fraction blocks of the same size. So I can take my 2/10 blocks, and I can see that these two are fractional tenth blocks. So I can trade out my 2/10 in decimals into 2/10 in fractions. Now I can take my 2/10 in fractions, and I know that 2/10 is the same as 1/5. So I know that 2/5 minus 2/10 is the same as 2/5 minus 1/5. So if I start with my 2/5 and I take 1/5 away, I end up with 1/5. So 1/5 minus 2/10 is 1/5. The other way I could have done this is I started with 2/5 blocks, and I want to take away 2/10 blocks in decimals. So I'm going to change my 2/5 blocks into decimals. So over here, I have 0.2 blocks, and these 0.2 blocks are the same size as my 1/5 blocks. So I can trade my 1/5 blocks for 2/10 blocks. So I have 2 of those, so I have a total of 4 10s. And I want to take my 2/10 blocks away. 2/10 is the same size as 0.2, 2/10, another way to say it. So I'm going to trade these out, and now I have 2 2/10 blocks minus 1 2/10 block, so now I have 2/10 left over. So 2/5 minus 0.2 is 0.2.